My parents came to Cedar Rapids in 1976 to start a small business with only $3,000 in the bank. And a short time later, they purchased the concept of little drugstore products. The only money they had left over at the end of any given week was earmarked for the church. I'm really proud of the family tradition of giving back that continues today.
From the moment Susie and I arrived at Little Drugstore, we made a point to share with our employees. We're here to do something more than make and ship pills.
Today, we're proud as Little Drugstore Products to support the community in many ways, such as healthcare, education, the arts, community and economic involvement, and the needs of at-risk youth.
We believe that at Little Drug, the more successful we are, the bigger impact we can have on our community.
My mom was one of the original employees at Little Drug, and so today I am a proud team member carrying on our family tradition. My dad recently passed away at the Dennis and Donna Oldorf Hospice House. While there as a family, we took a great sense of peace knowing that this place was made available to us because of the work being done by employees at Little Drug.
Over time, through its growth and its success, through the dedication and devotion of its employees, they're now able to make truly transformational gifts. They're able to literally change the face of this community for the better.
I have been blessed to be able to work with Tim Charles, to work with Chris and Susie, to develop not only the Family Caregiver Center, but now the Innovation Center, which it's just like expanding what we started.
As a big in the Big Brothers Big Sisters program, I appreciate the company's long-standing commitment to the youth in our community.
Little Drug has been strategic partners every step of the way and with Tanager Place. The expansion project for Camp Tanager really allowed us to first of all improve the infrastructure of camp, which had been, again, it's decades and decades old, to make sure that we have it for years and years to come for kids to enjoy. The expansion also allowed us to really increase the number of kids we can serve every single year.
The Summer Lodge expansion has actually been really awesome because that is our main cafeteria. I mean, we use that every single day. It's been amazing. They added like a back deck on the back side of that, so now there's extra tables. Kids can eat outdoors or indoors. It's really been like a big facilitator for being able to make friendships, being able to do a lot of the things that we're trying to preach here at camp. So it's been just beautiful.
Research shows that children succeed when they have a permanent home. What we tried to do with our project in Wellington Heights was to turn more apartments into single-family homes and give children a fighting chance and give them a permanent home. And now, with the help of Little Drugstore Products, we're well over 100 rooftops. We purchased the homes, we did scope of work inside the homes, renovated the homes, and got them ready for families.
Without Total Child Workforce, I don't know where it would be right now. You know, she taught us how to dress for interviews. She taught us how to fill out resumes. She taught us how to shake hands and look people in the eyes when you're talking to them, and also how to communicate with people.
At Little Drug, there's certainly a deep commitment to our community and a true desire to make meaningful transformational gifts that impact programs like ours, Kids on Course and Kids on Course University, not just for a year or a short period of time, but over a length of time that can really make an impact on the students we serve and allow us to expand and grow.
My home in October 2020 was one of thousands of buildings that were damaged from the derecho that swept through Cedar Rapids. And afterwards, it made me even more proud to work for a company that not only steps up and helps rebuild our community after a devastating event like the derecho, but is also actively engaged and committed to bettering our community in each and every day.
We haven't been able to show murals since 2008 when the Iowa River jumped its banks and flooded the arts campus at the university. It just makes me extraordinarily happy that we have this opportunity to bring Mural home, to have it on view in this state-of-the-art building that's going to function as a library of global visual culture and a laboratory for experiential learning. We would have neither Mural home at the University of Iowa nor the building itself without the hard work and dedication of Little Drugstore's employees.
What does it take to attract and retain good people to the company? And it's beyond what their basic needs are or them contributing their talents to the organization. I think it's about how do they connect with the organization. They also know that they work for a company that shares its business success And when they share that, they share it broadly across many nonprofit organizations. I think that helps them feel deeper connected to the company.
The biggest volunteering activity that we do now is with the ARC of East Central Iowa. My wife is the Director of Development, and I volunteer my time there and have since she started.
Recently, I joined the board of directors for the Catherine McCauley Center, the center that provides support services for women and immigrants.
I give back to my community through teaching catechism to kids from 11 to 14 years old.
When they built the new Ronald McDonald House in Maywood, Illinois, I went to apply. My duty was to prepare breakfast on Saturday mornings for the family staying there.
Combined with Children's Miracle Network hospitals, we raised over $2.6 million in 5 years. And with Folds of Honor in 3 years, we raised over $500,000.
What this organization aims to do is to end homelessness among the youth.
Giving back means so much to me because I am able to participate in a program that provides Christmas presents for families in need.
I help others. For me, it's like a gift that I have, and makes me feel like a better person every day.
They volunteer on boards. They serve meals at lunchtime. They act as big brothers and big sisters. That's really cool to have an environment and a culture where people feel empowered to put their skills to work elsewhere. And that's something we're really proud of, and we're really grateful to have those folks on our team.
Thank you.
Welcome, everyone. We are absolutely delighted to have you here, whether you are here in person or with us virtually. Welcome to each of you. It's become a biannual tradition for the Center for Advancement to host this event that celebrates Hawkeyes who give back. And we are happy to be gathering today to celebrate those who give back to the University of Iowa and to their communities. And you've already seen the remarkable work that Little Drugstore Products family of companies does. We are excited to be able to continue this conversation about giving back, because we know that in giving back in all forms, there is a powerful, powerful tool for leveraging change. And it's both true on campus and around the world. So that's why I'm especially grateful today to our guest and his family who give back to the community and our university through leadership and philanthropy to tell his story with us. Chris DeWolf is co-owner and president and CEO of Little Drugstore Family of Businesses and co-owner of Fourfold Ventures, a family office that focuses on private investments and philanthropy, as you have already seen. Previously, Chris held finance acquisition and business development roles at GE Healthcare, and he currently serves on the board of directors of the University of Iowa Center for Advancement, for which we are grateful, Mercy Care Service Corporation, and the Mercy Hospital Foundation. Chris also serves on the board of advisors for Swine Tech, a startup that began at the University of Iowa, and is an investor in and board member of the 2001 Development Corporation. He's served on several boards, including the Consumer Healthcare Products Association and the Greater Cedar Rapids Community Foundation. In 2011, Chris and his wife Susie, who is here with us today, were honored as Junior Achievement of Eastern Iowa's Young Entrepreneurs. And then in 2013, they were honored by the Association of Fundraising Professionals as outstanding individual philanthropists, and they remain absolutely so. In 2020, Little Drugstore Products was honored for their philanthropy by the Association of Fundraising Professionals, and in 2022, this year, Chris and Susie received the Howard Hall Excellence in Business Award from the Cedar Rapids Metro Economic Alliance. Chris has a BA from the University of Iowa and an MBA from Kellogg Graduate School of Management at Northwestern University. Please join with me in welcoming Chris to the stage.
I like young Chris better.
Young Chris?
That really got my attention. Anyways, thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Well, we are delighted to have you here. Thank you very much for making time to do this today. So since many attending today don't know your own personal story, why don't we begin with that? Can you take just a moment to share about your own background?
Absolutely. I was raised in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, and I had the opportunity to earn my finance degree here at the University of Iowa. I married my high school sweetheart, Susie DeWolf, who actually is my preschool sweetheart. She's right there in the front row. I mention her because she is a partner in this journey. We are on it together, and you'll hear me reference her quite frequently throughout my comments. We have three amazing kiddos, adult kids, I should say. One is a graduate from the University of Iowa in the journalism school. She put that phenomenal video together for us. We have two others that I love just as much, but they're somewhat misguided. They decided to be Badgers versus Hawkeyes. So I know they're watching too, so we can give them a little love as well. Anyways, we started our career in corporate America, but we knew we wanted to be entrepreneurs. And we returned to Cedar Rapids, Iowa in 2000, and the rest is history. We're really excited to be here today. As you can see from the video, philanthropy is something that we are incredibly passionate about as a family and as a company, and I'm happy to share our story.
So tell us a little bit about the values of your organization. We saw that philanthropy is obviously a high priority for you. What else have you built your company on in terms of values?
Well, so we believe that we offer the best of both worlds at our company. We have the heart, the feel, the engagement, the connectedness of a family business, of a private business. We have the discipline and the commitment to the future and growth of a publicly traded company. When we think about values, there's a couple things that I want to share in terms of statistics. We do annual culture surveys in our organization. Here are a couple of results from this latest survey. 97% of our employees say they are proud to work for our company. 96% say they are confident in the future direction of our company. 95% say they find their work highly engaging, and 92% say that they would recommend our place to a loved one or a friend to work. Now, when you run a business, you know if you have that type of engagement, man, everything else is absolutely easy. And I would say that that type of engagement has been driven by a value of putting the needs of others first. When we returned, I think we stumbled onto something, which is, people don't wake up each and every day motivated to sell more stuff. They want to be connected to a company that has a greater meaning. And we started making the connection that the more successful we are as an organization, the greater the impact that we can have in the communities in which we operate. And I think that is one of the core reasons why we have such high engagement scores.
That's really remarkable. Lots of companies would be thrilled to have something even approximating that. So congratulations on that level of engagement. So Little Drugstore Products will be celebrating its 50th anniversary in 2024, and congratulations on that. I'm interested in your journey from the Tippie College of Business and a finance major to being really a renowned business leader in Iowa and across the Midwest. What are some of the highlights from your journey so far?
It has been full of a lot of excitement. When I graduated from University of Iowa, I joined corporate America. I worked for GE, and that was an amazing place to start my career, to get a foundation, to learn, improve my business skills. But Susie and I knew we wanted to be entrepreneurs, and it was just a matter of time. That time occurred in December of 1999. We were living in Milwaukee, Wisconsin at the time, and Susie asked if we could speak. And she asked, would I be willing to take a leave of absence from GE to relocate back to Cedar Rapids, Iowa to help out at the family business. Now, I will say, it was posed as a question, but it was a statement. We were moving back to Cedar Rapids to help out with the family business. What you don't know is, unfortunately, Susie's father was suffering from cancer at the time. And the thinking was that an extra set of eyes and ears in the business would be helpful. So we discussed it, and after a night of going back and forth, we decided to dive right in. I have to tell you, it was not without trepidation. After all, I was the outlaw in the in-laws business, and that takes a special kind of person. I woke up February 14th of 2000 in the Cedar Rapids Marriott in a blizzard, by myself, listening to the local farm report, and I thought, man, this is a long ways from the corporate fast track. What am I doing? I walked across in the dark hours of the morning to our really humble office and warehouse at the time. It was made out of sheet metal. And before I walked through that threshold, I thought, man, what am I doing? We walked through that threshold, and the rest is history. We've done some amazing things at our business. We've built brands that you all know. We've built a business that was operating in 35 countries around the world, Western Europe and Pacific Rim. We've bought and sold businesses. But the thing that we're most proud about is what you saw in that video. We firmly believe that our purpose is to grow and be successful in this business so that we can have a greater impact.
That's lovely. Thank you. And what a highlight. Thanks. And to remember those different moments that could have been different along the way, right? Yeah, thank you. So you're not only a leader in business, but clearly also in philanthropy with Susie. As we saw in the video, you and Susie have invested over $15 million for more than 125 projects and organizations. What inspired you to become a philanthropist? We saw a little bit about that from Susie in the video, about her family, but tell me about your own personal investment in that as well.
Well, you know, I think it starts with what Susie said. She told the story about at the end of the week, whatever was left would go to the church. We were both raised in households that valued philanthropy. And whether that was giving back financially or whether that was giving of your time, that was table stakes. That was the expectation. So I think we benefited from being raised in that environment. Also being raised in Iowa. I mean, in the state of Iowa, helping your neighbor is the norm. It is not the exception. So I think layered on top of that, we were just surrounded by a context to giving back. Now, Susie and I have always believed that, again, as our business grows, it can be a catalyst to make a difference. So we have really accelerated our giving as the business has prospered recently. And frankly, we've come to the decision that we want to give back while we're still living. It is absolutely fun, right? It is an opportunity to meet new people, to solve new and challenging problems, to get exposed to different points of view. And why wait, for us at least, till we are no longer on this earth to give it away? Let's do it while we can be part of the solution and have some of the fun.
So your parents influenced both of you, which is lovely. As you have accelerated your philanthropy, are there other business leaders or philanthropic leaders who you think about when you think about being inspired as especially, honestly, quite young philanthropists and people who've had a powerful impact already?
Well, the young philanthropist was the one on the screen. You know, I would say we've both been blessed by having phenomenal mentors. Those mentors have helped us gain our footing, particularly when we moved back to Cedar Rapids. You know, we didn't know what it meant to own and run a family business. We thought we knew what it meant. We didn't know. We didn't know what it meant to be a community leader. We thought we knew what it meant. We really didn't know. And so we've tried to surround ourselves with folks that have an authentic interest in seeing us and our business be successful, They've given us some phenomenal advice over the years. You know, one of my fondest mentors would say from the very beginning, he says, Chris, I want you to give to your network 9 times out of 10, so that the one time you need something, that network is there for you. And I think what he was talking about, while he was talking about networks, he was talking about a frame of mind. He was talking about a mindset of focusing on the needs of others first. And I think that's really served us well.
Clearly, yeah, very nice. So as you were developing your priorities for where little drugstore products would give, how did you determine what those were going to be?
So, frankly, they're based on personal experiences. You know, I think over time we collect our personal experience through life, and that begins to shape our philanthropic intent. So we tend to focus on 5 areas, both as a business and as a family. We focus on healthcare, we focus on education, we focus on the arts, we focus on helping at-risk kids and supporting their families, and we focus on projects that build the community overall. I would like to share an experience with you. And it was referenced in that video. It references the hospice house. Unfortunately, Susie's father eventually passed away. Before he passed away, Susie's mother, Donna, and Dennis, asked the hospice nurse who was taking care of him, what did our community need? And she said, we need a hospice house. We need a place where people that are struggling with terminal cancer can go and end their life in a dignified, peaceful way. And a place that supports their family in that journey, provides respite. So shortly after Dennis's passing, Donna stepped forward and she said, we're gonna do this. And her friends and family gathered around. And not too long after that, the hospice house was built. Now, to this day, Susie and I and our family are approached in the grocery store, on the streets. We receive notes from people we do not even know, who tell us about what a special place the hospice house has been to their family and how it brought peace in an absolutely terrible time. Think about this. One person, Donna Oldorf, stepped forward and said, I'm going to make a difference. And she changed the lives of so many. Susie and I saw that, and that's when we leaned into healthcare. We wanted to do the same. We're working on a project in Cedar Rapids right now, specifically focused on dementia, hoping that we can have the same transformational impact in our community with dementia patients and their families as Donna did with the hospice house. But I think that's an example of, as you go through life, you collect experiences, you draw upon them, and that begins to put your areas of philanthropy into focus.
Thank you. What a beautiful thing for you and Susie to be focusing on, the really challenging and difficult moments that dementia brings to families. And as one who lives in the community and knowing the challenges that people have at that stage, that's a really lovely commitment. Thank you for that. So you've talked about this amazing engagement that your employees have, and the ways we saw that they have been involved in philanthropy, and that their interests and priorities have been prioritized. Why is that important to you? And how did you come to think about the way that employees could participate in that?
Well, I think, frankly, in today's environment, I'm going to answer this a couple ways. In today's environment, talent wants to be part of organizations that stand for something. It is absolutely table stakes for a company, if you want to attract great people, to be about something more than sales and profits. It is what it is. So I think that's number one. Number two is we think about our employees and their engagement. It's very important for us that whether you are a line worker, someone in the factory, someone at customer service, or an executive, you can make the connection between the work that you do every day and the good that the company is doing in the community. It's not about Chris and Susie DeWolf making these gifts. We would not be able to make these gifts without all of the hard work and dedication of our entire team. And so that is a very important principle, and that's another reason why I think we have such engagement. I also think promoting philanthropy in your organization provides opportunities for people to lead, to be exposed to new and different things, to apply their skills in a different way. It sharpens their ability differently, right? And so I think selfishly, that provides more engagement and energy. And lastly, I would say, you have shared stories, right? I can think about the Cedar River devastated Cedar Rapids in 2008. And in my mind's eye, I can see our Little Drug headquarter employees down sandbagging the day before the river crested. And we all have that shared experience to draw upon that holds us together. And I think, again, that is a key reason why we have such a strong culture and such strong engagement.
That's remarkable. What are some of the greatest lessons that you take away as a business leader and a philanthropist from working with the community partners? So you've had some remarkable leadership opportunities within the community, some really challenging industries that you've helped in terms of healthcare and trying to address some of the most pervasive issues there. What have you gained from some of those volunteer opportunities, which is obviously another way to give back?
Yeah. Well, as I think about it, there are a couple things. One is this concept of philanthropy is living, it's evolving. It changes with who you are and your collection of experiences. And I think we've really learned to embrace that. The other is the joy of seeing a challenge or a community need through the eyes of someone else. I certainly bring my perspective. Susie brings hers. Maybe the area we see it most is when we work with our family on giving. We have 3 adult kids and they're very engaged in our philanthropy. To be able to see through their eyes the things that are important and the solutions that they think are critical is eye-opening for us. And frankly, we come to the table with more complete and comprehensive solutions. So I think it's really embracing both of those topics.
So you and Susie have both been deeply engaged in your alma maters. Susie serves on the University of Wisconsin Foundation and Alumni Association Board, and you serve on the UICA board, and you've made this wonderful commitment to the Stanley Museum of Art for the Chris and Susie DeWolf Family Gallery that will hold Pollock's mural when it returns. And we are really excited about that. What inspired you to do that?
Well, first and foremost, this sounds simple. We are Iowans and we want the best for this state. We want to invest in the places, whether that's University of Iowa or other state universities, colleges and junior colleges, that are training the next leaders of this state. So that's number one. Number two, we love this Hawkeye community. We absolutely love it. We wear our Tiger Hawk logo with pride. One of the things we do a lot of is we travel a lot. And my kids and Susie gave me a hard time because I tend to travel in very comfortable clothes. Susie calls it loungewear. And now my loungewear probably has a Tiger Hawk logo on it. And we've been in Africa, we've been in New Zealand, I can think of all the places we've been. And people see that Tiger Hawk logo and you know what they say? They say, "Go Hawks," right? It absolutely blows my mind. But it's about being part of this community of University of Iowa, and we're just so passionate, and we want to support it. Now, as it relates to the specific place of the museum, you know, we're very honored to be part of bringing our art back to the university. But when you talk to Lauren, she'll tell you, it's not just about the art. It's about having a fabulous place that can be a gathering place for our students and the broader community. Susie and I were there last week to see it before the art was hung, and it's absolutely out of this world. Lastly, I want to put a plug in for the arts here. I mean, think about it. We have Hansher, we have Stanley, we have Voxman, we have Arts West, we have the Visual and Performing Arts Center. It is a collection of fine arts assets that I don't think anyone else has in this world. And we're happy to support it because it truly makes this university a destination.
Amen to that. And it's a magnificent gallery, and it's empty. Well, we are so excited that the museum will be opening on the first day of school, so on August 26th. And thank you to all of the people who have made that possible for us to have the new building, and the staff and the leadership of the museum who are really looking for so many ways to engage the art with the students and the members of the community as a learning laboratory, as Lauren said so eloquently in the video. So you were probably a beneficiary of philanthropy when you were an undergraduate student. Yeah. As you look back, because it's usually upon reflection that we recognize that, how did philanthropy impact you and your college experience at Iowa?
I would say the most notable one was the opening of the John Papa John building and the Henry Tippie Business School. I straddled here. So I was in Phillips Hall for my first 3 years, and then my last year I came to that brand new building. Now, I don't think it's a secret. Phillips Hall is not exactly the most motivational place that we have on campus. And to be able to compare and contrast when we showed up back in campus our fall of that year was absolutely amazing. You saw right then and there philanthropy in action and the commitment from the state to train future business leaders. You know, I think it gave us all an extra boost of confidence. It gave us all a little bit of swagger that we saw the university and philanthropists wanted to get behind us, and it was such a visible project. It was really cool to be part of.
Good. That must have been super interesting to have 3 in 1, as they would say. So you clearly have embedded some of these values in your family and in your children. Yeah. How do you go about talking about that with your children and how you want them to be able to share those values going forward?
So our kids are, like I said, they're young adults. They're in their 20s, except for we have one high school senior. They have been part of the conversation the entire time. They're part of the conversation as it relates to the business in all of our businesses. And they're part of the conversation as it relates to philanthropy. They're very engaged. They visit places. They make decisions. They donate the money. They follow up. They have a voice and a seat at the table. We believe it's our responsibility to train these kids to be the next generation of philanthropists, and that's what we're committed to doing. And again, I think one of the most exciting aspects of that is being able to see how they see the community, being able to see the needs that they think are important, because they're very different than ours, and we learn from each other along the way.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. What a great lesson. What a great life lesson. So I've been handed a few cards from the audience with questions that people have, so we won't have any ringers, I hope, that will...
If not, we're going back to the video.
Yeah, all right, good, good. And the first one is, how have you seen your view of philanthropy shift over your career?
Well, you know, I think early in my career, I'll be honest, I was focused on myself. I was focused on building my career, working countless hours, trying to move up. And that was probably more when I was prior to joining our company. As I've gone through my life, I think I have the benefit of perspective and wisdom. And we really have prioritized, as I've said, the needs of others. It has served us very well. But you know, it was always in there, but sometime it got lost. It got lost in the early years when we were trying to get ourselves grounded and start off in life. And I think that's one big thing. I think the other thing that I've learned is, you know, never impose your view of philanthropic intent on someone else. It's their personal journey. It's what makes them unique, right? So I think some of the things early on in my career, I would go raise money for an organization. I would think, well, of course you have to give. Not necessarily, if it's not important to them, and you can't judge them for that. So I think having the wisdom and the experience of that, those are a couple things that come to mind off the top of my head.
Okay. The next one is perhaps more related to your role as a business leader.
Okay.
What are the keys to motivating a team?
Well, I believe that, number one, I believe hire great people and get the heck out of their way. I say it all the time, and if I'm in private, I don't say this, the heck word. I believe very much in hiring great people, providing the parameters and letting them go. They're great people. If they have talent, they want to be able to run, right? They want to be able to make decisions and lead and drive the business forward. They don't want someone over their shoulder. So that's one. As you've heard, we've really focused on making sure we connect the success of the business to something more than an income statement or a balance sheet. It's about something greater than that, and I think that's motivational. I think spending the time to connect with each of our employees on an authentic level is another way you motivate and engage. And lastly, and sort of relates to the first comment, we really try to drive change from the bottoms up at our organization. We really try to have an environment and a culture where if you want to change and you see an opportunity, you come forward and we're going to support you with that. And I think that also motivates people and really drives their engagement.
Another one a little bit related to that, what values are most important to you as a leader?
Authenticity, integrity, being focused on someone besides yourself. Those are values that come to my mind right now.
Yeah, good, thank you. We see that, we see that. Outside of your giving, financially, what is your favorite way to give back to your community?
I love being involved with boards. Not from, I think sometimes you can hear that and say someone wants to be involved with a board to promote themselves. I love being involved with boards because it gives me a new perspective. It gives me new education. It highlights for me how much I don't know. And I get to surround myself with really great people and learn new things and be part of solutions I otherwise wouldn't be exposed to. So, you read my bio and it was embarrassingly long. But I would say, as I reflected back there, I've really always tried to step forward and engage in board or leadership roles because I think it makes me a better person.
I'd be interested, this is the Lynette question.
I'm out.
I'd be interested, did you have leadership experiences as a young person? Grade school, middle school, high school, that informed who you became as a young leader right out of college, maybe?
Yeah, I was actively involved with sports and actively involved with leadership there. Frankly, I have to be honest, I was a bit of a late bloomer. I think I hit my stride in college. And in college, I really started stepping forward and trying to find opportunities where I could engage and make a difference in the community.
Well, it's wonderful in the film to see how some of the organizations that you and Susie and your family are supporting is doing that for young people and helping teach them those skills.
Well, just think about this. We talk about this a lot. How lucky are we, all of us, to be in the United States of America versus some other place? How lucky and fortunate are we that we were born into the circumstances that we were born into? We think about that and we see young kiddos that don't have those same opportunities. And I think that really is what drives us to try to help folks. Every kid should be given an opportunity, right? And we're there to try to help balance it, if you will.
Yeah, thank you. Final question.
All right.
How would you encourage Iowa students and community members that might not have a lot of financial resources, but who want to engage in the community to give back?
So I think there's a misconception. I think there's a misconception that you have to have a lot of money in your bank account to be a philanthropist. And I'm here to tell you that's absolutely wrong. I would encourage every student here to start focusing on the mentality of putting the needs of others first. If you focus on that, the rest is going to follow. You're going to grow in to your ability to give back financially. Eventually, you will have the time to give back through your time and effort through volunteerism, right? But if you focus on the craft of prioritizing others first, when you get to that opportunity, you'll be ready. And that's what I think. The other thing I would say, join a company out of Iowa that values this. If it's Little Drug, I'm happy to talk to you afterwards. But join a company that values this. You will advance your career, you'll have more fun, you'll have more connection and more passion. So that's another recommendation I have for you.
Very good. Chris, thank you. Susie, thank you. We are glad to have you here today. Your children who are listening, we're grateful for that. You really embody and give us a vision of the importance of contributing back to our communities, and it's really a delight to be able to hear your story and to share it widely. So would you all please join with me in thanking Chris